Hello, and thank you for watching this regional forecast for the Canadian Prairie. I'm Andrew Pritchard, meteorologist with Nutrien Ag Solutions. Well, it's cold weather that we continue to talk about. Bitterly cold air mass set up across much of the Canadian Prairie, spilling into parts of the northern plains and the upper Midwest as we go through the next 5 days. Still holding on to that cold bias even as we head into the December 21st time frame here, although there will be opportunities for some slow warm-ups, a chaotic temperature forecast here over the next 5 to 10 days, which we'll look at with things leaning cold over the next 5 to 10 days. We're also going to see the chance for some snow across portions of the prairie here, almost daily chances for light snow. We'll talk about the accumulation amounts here in just a moment, but over time we will see that storm track slowly shift south, bringing snow to an end across the region by the weekend. Now, as we look at the satellite picture, we're looking at infrared satellite picture, and that means we're looking at the cloud top temperatures. The reason we're doing that right now is because this video is being made early in the morning before the sun has risen, so we can't use visible satellite. So we can look at this. We're looking at temperatures. We see the very cold cloud tops here, right here, and then a storm system making its way across the east coast. But what I want to point out is this blue, purple, and green shaded area right here from the prairie into the northern plains of the United States and the upper Midwest. That's our very cold air mass. It is so cold that it's actually showing up here on this infrared satellite picture. And what you also see is the very sharp cutoff between this cold air mass and a more seasonally appropriate air mass off to the south here. So temperatures jump from about 10 to 20 degrees as you just cross this little line here, but that bitterly cold air mass is showing up plainly on the satellite picture. Also showing up plainly are some snow showers making their way across primarily portions of Alberta, but also seeing some snow flurries across southwestern portions of Saskatchewan as well, south of Saskatoon and Regina. And the entire prairie will see an opportunity for at least some light snow as we head through the rest of the week. Now, what I want to show you is we're going to see a big upper level low sort of retrograde back across areas north of the prairie, and that's going to take our storm track. We're looking at 500 millibar vorticity, so these colored areas, these help us pick out our upper level disturbances and our little storm systems, and so it doesn't take much to kick off some snow flurries, and this is the disturbance right now that's bringing the snow flurries to Alberta and southern portions of Saskatchewan. We'll see this continue off to the west. Let me go ahead and we'll just click through time with this one, bringing it back to today. So this disturbance slowly makes its way off. Now it's across parts of Wisconsin here by the time we get to Thursday, midday. And now here's this big upper level low. You see it spinning away here and slowly making its way off to the west and to the south. Another disturbance swinging through portions of Manitoba right here. You see that little trough, the shading there. Other disturbances making their way across portions of British Columbia and Alberta. Now, as this upper level low kind of forces itself back into the region, that is going to shove our storm track off to the south, putting it more across the northern plains and the central plains of the U.S., and that should bring snow, the daily chances of snow here, to an end, at least temporarily, as we head into the end of the week and the weekend. Looking first at the high-resolution model here, taking it through the next 48 hours, we just continue to see the chances for snow across the region. We see the same thing here when we look at the high-resolution NAM model, or the long-range European model. I got to tell you, I've come down with something, so my brain is a bit foggy this morning, but we're going to get through it. I want to show you here the daily chances of snow, generally along and south of Highway 16 as we head through the week. We're looking at all the way into, we're starting here on Tuesday, seeing the snow across primarily Alberta and southern Saskatchewan. As we get into the day on Thursday, perhaps some snow falling now across southern portions of Manitoba, especially into Friday morning. That's the most likely time to see snow over in the Winnipeg area. But meanwhile, snow showers just continuing across the Front Range here, portions of southern and western Alberta. Just these daily chances for light snow flurries. And again, as we take a look at the total forecast amounts here from some of our ensembles, this is looking all the way through through Sunday, I apologize. So taking it through the end of the week and into the weekend. Up toward the Edmonton area, perhaps 5 to 10 centimeters, but elsewhere from the Calgary area off toward Winnipeg, we're talking about light snow amounts here, anywhere from a trace to maybe 5 centimeters of snow from Highway 16 south toward the U.S. border. We see the same thing here with the European model, trace to about 5 centimeters. The GFS, our most gung-ho model here, but it just keeping things about 7 or 8 centimeters or less here as you get down toward the U.S. border. And then a similar picture here as you look at the Canadian ensemble, 5 to 10 centimeters possible from central into northwestern Manitoba. Elsewhere across the prairie, daily snowfall chances, but only amounting to about a trace to maybe 5 centimeters of snow. So again, not talking about crippling snow, but talking about frequent opportunities for snow over the next few days. As we just take a look at where we're headed, again, there is a signal here that maybe we do moderate slowly. Let me go ahead and jump back here and just get the scroller here to slow down. Watching a big ridge across portions of British Columbia, that big upper level trough now across portions of Manitoba that has brought all of the cold air into the region. So this is the jet stream pattern right now. As we head through the next few days, we're watching flow sort of flatten out, again keeping this active storm track with very minor disturbances through the flow here along the Canadian-US border. And then by the time we get to Tuesday and Wednesday of next week, perhaps building a ridge back into the region, at least temporarily, and that could lead to a temporary warm-up. Now, if you just play this out, getting back here, it does look like troughing redevelops, so I'm not promising extended warmth here. I'm just kind of pointing out that the temperatures lean cold, but there will be opportunities for maybe a brief warm-up here as we get into early next week, and disturbances traveling through the region that could lead to fluctuations in the temperatures as well. Looking at the temperature anomaly forecast then from the European model, we'll go ahead back here and click through that. What is going on? There we go. Bringing it back to today, again with that very bitterly cold air mass locked in across the prairie here. Opportunities for a brief warm-up here across far southern Alberta, far southern Saskatchewan, part of Thursday, but it is short-lived. Another round of cool air swings in. Again, you're seeing these little fluctuations. It's as we get into early next week, the opportunity for a warm-up here. But how far north does that warm-up get, and how long does it last? That is the question mark, but you can look forward to that as we head into the early to middle part of next week, potentially. Looking at some select cities across the region, starting with Edmonton, again, bitterly cold air in the region. Here's that brief warm-up opportunity as we head into early next week, but really only talking about temperatures getting back up into the single digits below zero for afternoon high temperatures. Calgary, not quite so chaotic with the temperatures. Here is your forecast for the next 10 days. Looking at Saskatoon, temperatures generally from negative 13 to negative 18 for highs, lows around negative 20. Similar picture as we look at Regina, high temperatures around negative 11 to negative 17 for the next 5 days with overnight lows very close to negative 20. And then the biggest fluctuations are as you head off to the east. This is where we'll see the wildest temperature swings. Winnipeg, Manitoba, you are warming up as we head into the early part of the week. A reinforcing shot of cooler air for the weekend with a slow warm-up then as we head into the middle part of next week, but temperatures only climbing back to around negative 15 for afternoon highs, so bitterly cold off to the east with that very cold air mass really the brunt of it impacting portions of Manitoba. Total liquid precipitation then across portions of Alberta. As we just play this out toward the end, again you see that daily chance for precipitation. You see that because you don't see a big push here and then it quieting down. We see these opportunities for snowfall continuing into the weekend with liquid equivalents of around 10 to 5 millimeters of precipitation off to the north. And then as you head from Edmonton down toward the U.S. border, talking about much lighter precipitation, only around 5 millimeters of precipitation expected. Same thing with the snow. If you want the higher snow, you're heading off toward the north and to the west. Elsewhere from Calgary down toward the U.S. border, talking about a trace to 5 centimeters of snow. As we look off to the east, generally across southern Saskatchewan, southern Manitoba, talking about light precipitation, about a trace to maybe 5 millimeters of precipitation, and then we're looking at about a trace to 5 centimeters of snow across the region. As always, Eric Snodgrass will have an in-depth look at the next 1 to 2 weeks in our Thursday morning ag forecast video posted tomorrow, and I'll be back to talk about the Canadian Prairie once again on Friday morning. Have a great day.